Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at something that is a lot older than what I usually look at. Today we're going to be taking a look at a custom built AT style system from 1996. Now this thing is pretty cool actually, and I haven't messed with any older stuff in a long time, but today we're going to be taking a look at this thing. We're going to be taking a look at its gaming performance, which I can't really game, but you'll see later in the video. And we're also going to be taking this thing online and trying to do some web browsing. So let's take a look at the system that we have here. Now, this system was built by a small computer company called Quantex, which are apparently based in New Jersey. I've never heard of them, you probably haven't either, but anyways, the specifications of this system include a Pentium CPU at 133 megahertz. It doesn't even have MMX support. We also have 80 megabytes of RAM, which I don't know how that's possible, but that's what the BIOS says and that's what Windows says. And then we also have a 2 gigabyte original Seagate hard drive. And then we also have an ATI Mach 64 video card, or as Windows 98 likes to call it, is a ATI PCI Graphics Turbo. Anyways, we also have a bunch of other stuff like a USB 1.1 card, a Ensoniq Sound Blaster compatible sound card, and a US Robotics modem, which nobody uses those anymore anyways, so who cares? So let's talk about the rear I/O on this system. Now, at the top we have the power supply, no surprise there, and then we have the AT connector with an optional cutout for a PS2 mouse connector if your board supports it. This board doesn't, however. We have then two serial ports, a parallel port, the USB 1.1 card, VGA card, and then the Ethernet card. There's three different types of connectors that I only know one name to, and then we also have the sound card with the game port and all of the audio connections down at the bottom, and then we also have a modem as well at the bottom with the two 56K connections. So when I got this computer, the computer had Windows 95 on it originally, but the previous owner upgraded it to Windows 98, and I just decided to put a fresh install of Windows 98 on there anyways, because even though it is kind of close to the minimum requirements of Windows 98, it does still run pretty smoothly. So how is this computer's performance when it comes to games? And I only tested 2 games, and you could probably tell just from the 2 games that I tested that this thing is a disaster when it comes to playing Windows 98 era games and DOS games, because the sound in DOS doesn't work even though this is a Sound Blaster compatible card. First game was Unreal Tournament Game of the Year Edition. This is the 1999 release. It was complete doo-doo. My guess is that it got an average of around probably like less than 5 frames a second. Like, it was terrible, and it refused to go out of 640 by 480 windowed mode. So every time I'd go full screen, it would crash. So the experience was just terrible. You cannot play this game. Now the next game I tried, I for the life of me cannot remember the name of it. It was either Midtown Madness or 4x4 Evo. I think that's the name of that game, something like that. Anyways, it was terrible, mainly because I guess the video card had a stroke trying to launch the game. The soundtrack worked and it sounded awesome, but the actual playability was non-existent. It seemed that we got, kind of like in the low teens of FPS when playing the sound file, but hey, it could be worse, I guess. Now for my web browsing test, I've decided to use the one and only SeaMonkey, the almighty browser for Windows 98. Now believe it or not, I used to actually use Netscape Navigator 9 to test these, and believe it or not, it can still load a decent amount of modern websites on a early Pentium 4 based computer, which is pretty impressive that a very outdated version of Netscape Navigator and a very outdated browser in general can still load at least about 50% of the pages that I tried, which is pretty good for an outdated browser. You can't even do that on Internet Explorer 6. But the web browsing experience wasn't great. It did load the YouTube website, but it wouldn't load any pictures or any links or anything. So you might be able to load a couple of things on a Pentium 1 system, but really web browsing is probably not something you'd want to do. Now, I know I didn't do the best testing. I know there's probably a million other ways that I could have tested this system. I'm probably going to get comments about it as well. But anyways, I don't have the computer anymore, so if you do request a tests on the system. I won't be able to do it because I don't have it anymore. But basically, I know I only tested 2 games, and I know there were late 90s games, but I don't have any Windows 95 games, and I ran out of CDs, so I couldn't burn any. I have the ISOs, just can't burn them. I know I could have tried more sites on SeaMonkey, but honestly, I was kind of rushed at the end to get this video out, as I had to ship out this system the day that I was filming all that stuff that you just previously saw in the video. Everything except for the intro was filmed in one day, and that was the day that I had to ship it out. Anyways, I'm rambling on, but I hope you guys enjoy this video. So look at something that's pretty old school, and it'll probably be a couple of weeks before I upload something again, because I bought myself a brand new monitor. I don't know if I'll make a video on it, probably not, but I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys next time.